put pits in the. One problem of a white frame is it shows all the dirt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So okay, so the next thing we do is we've got a bottom bracket. This is where our pedals go.
Okay.
And again, when you're threading anything together, and it doesn't have to necessarily be bicycles; it can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea to put a little bit of grease on the threads,
Yeah.
and does two things. It keeps it makes it easy to thread in.
Yeah.
The other thing that it does is that it keeps the part from binding to the frame.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know, when I worked in a bike shop, I think there was a couple of instances where we needed to replace the bottom bracket, but we couldn't because the threads had bound into the bottom bracket threads so badly
Yeah.
that we could not get the bottom bracket out. And I don't know, I forget how we got around that. I think what wound up happening was they wound up destroying the bottom bracket.
Oh, that sucks.
And even the threads in the bottom bracket, and we had to put in a special bottom bracket
Yeah.
that didn't use threads. So this will go on pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new type of bottom bracket. It uses this splined tool to put it together.
That's pretty
The
cool.
older bottom brackets had different tools. They used it was 2 pins,
Oh, okay.
and that was how they got one side on, and then the other side went in with a specific kind of wrench,
Okay.
Okay.
and
Like unique wrench only to.
yeah.
Okay.
So this side would be called the fixed cup side, and then this side was called the adjustable cup side. And so you had the loose bearings. This is a sealed bearing bottom bracket. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so the bearings are all set up. They're set to go. I just need to get the bottom bracket in place tight enough that it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't have to worry about adjusting the bearings because the bearings are already adjusted. Whereas the older style bottom brackets, you adjusted the bearings using the adjustable cup and the special tools that did that. It was a little more involved, a little bit more work.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty good.
that's that.
So yeah, earlier when you were talking about the brand of the bike, a
Yeah.
question popped up to my head.
Yeah.
If not start any controversial topics, what would be your favorite brand of a bike?
There was an Italian maker. His name was Fiero Miazzi.
Okay.
Fiero Mazzi, and he had this skill of being able to. One of the things that bicycle builders can do is by changing the inside diameter of the tubing, they could change how the bicycle frame would handle. And Fiero Mazzi just sort of figured out how to maximize the strength of a frame as well as preserve the lightness at the same time in such a way that his bicycles always had a very unique handling characteristics. It's kind of like, different cars have different handling characteristics.
Yeah.
Same thing with bicycles. Different bicycles ride differently. And that's part of the reason why I have 9 bicycles, because each one of the bicycles that I have
Different utility.
handles differently than
The other one.
than the other one.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm putting just a tiny little dab of grease. This is the crank set,
yeah.
Okay.
and so we slide that on there, and it's a. And then here's the other one. Again, just a little bit of,
Grease.
just a tiny little bit.
Pretty smart to put on the side. Just
And
any of it.
just if you ever have to take it apart, there's a special tool for that. It allows you to pull that off.
Okay.
And these are crank bolts.
Okay.
And actually, before I do that, just a little bit of grease on the threads. Okay, there's that. And then around here is this is really nice system. It uses just a really big Allen wrench
Yeah.
Okay.
to tighten it. This is a French-made crankset, company called Stronglight.
Okay.
Ray Wohlhauser built his bicycles in a pretty with a pretty unusual collection of parts. He would use a combination of French and Italian and sometimes Spanish parts. There was a company called Zeus, and they made
Okay.
some very nice parts. If you look up bicycles built in the 80s, everybody was into, like, especially the racers were into making their bicycles as light as they possibly could. And one of the ways they would do that is they would drill everything. So you'd have all these little these little holes on the chain wheels. You'd see you'd see holes drilled out in the you'd see holes drilled out in the brake arms.
Okay.
And then, of course, the brake levers themselves, were, like
Oh.
like these, are drilled
Oh,
out.
wow.
Yeah.
So this is an example of, this is a Spanish make. This is Zeus, and the brake arms are Zeus too. This is an Italian company. This is Campanolo. Campanolo is very important in bike history because they are the company. Tullio Campanolo was a bike racer back in the 20s and 30s, and before they had quick releases on wheels, you had these wing nuts, and those wing nuts sometimes were made it very hard to get the wheels off because they'd be on so tight,
Yeah.
and you couldn't for some reason or another you couldn't get a good grip on them.
Okay.
And what's going on here?
So, would the bike frames ever break when racers were riding?
Yeah, they could. Yeah, especially back in the old days,
Frames weren't as strong.
frames weren't as strong,
Okay.
and so yeah, it was not uncommon for bike frames to break.
Yeah.
And racers, especially with their strength and so forth, were pretty notorious for doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because some of those guys would get really be built really really strong. Okay, front derailleur. There it is. So that's the rear derailleur that I just put on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this bicycle is gonna have 6 speeds in the rear, in the freewheel.
Okay.
Alright.
Freewheel is, so you have cogs in the back, you have chain rings in the front, and so we're gonna. Do this. Before I get it too tight, one of the things I need to do is I get the bottom of the curve of this. I get this within a certain distance
Okay.
of the chain wheels. If you don't do that, it won't shift right. The other thing you got to do is you got to make sure that it's in line with the chain wheels.
Okay.
So, and then you can see when the cable pulls. So now we're going to tighten this up.
So yeah, I'd imagine if you started building bikes as a kid and started pretty young and
Yeah.
are continuing to do it till this day, I'd imagine you had a lot of bikes built so far. So I was wondering, like, what do you usually do with the bikes that you build? Like, do you sell them?
I ride them all. Some of them I've sold. Some of them I've given away.
Okay.
But most of the time I get them because I like them and I want to ride them.
Ride them, yeah.
So that's what I do.
Mhm.
And then okay, so at this point we're gonna progress to the brakes.
Okay.
Okay.
And actually, before we do that, I'm gonna put in the stem. This is where the handlebars are gonna go.
All right.
And again, I'm just putting grease on there so that it's not gonna stick. Okay, that's sort of within the ballpark.
That works.
Yeah, it works. Get the handlebars
Okay.
in place.
So those look cool.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So that's.
I thought you had.
Now that's
Yeah,
one way I can do it. The other way I could do it, I could have
Yeah, I
taken
thought
the
you were
face.
gonna have to take it off.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna take
I
them
could have
off.
taken the faceplate off and done that. But
I like that way a little bit better. I think it's pretty cool.
that's a little more fun.
Yeah, I think so.
So and then, oops, thank you. Okay, there's that one.
Get this one.
Thank you. So at at this point we're positioning the handlebars. This is more of a modern stem. The old style stems were one piece. This is a two-piece stem.
Okay.
I sort of have, my neck gets real sore very easily, so I like my handlebars higher. And so the one-piece stems tend to be, they don't have as long a quill, and so I get these special quills that are extra long, and then I buy the separate stem.
Okay.
There is a company called Technomic that makes a really nice one-piece stem that has an extra long quill, and a lot of my bicycles have those. But this bike, okay, let me see what I want to do. Is I'm going to position this a little bit better. Oops. Except I don't want to do that.
Let's not do that one.
Okay, so just try to see that it's centered.
Yeah.
And then I want it to be somewhat level, and we'll cinch it down.
So when you were a kid, did your parents buy you the bike frames, or did you buy them yourself?
No, I bought everything myself. Well, yeah, my first couple of bicycles my parents bought for me, and those are the bicycles that I just modified. I didn't assemble them. The bicycles that I built myself, I bought it. You know, I basically had a job, and I worked, and I put the money out myself to buy the parts, and you know, sometimes, you know, parents don't understand your hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
it just doesn't make sense to them.
yeah,
or...
it just doesn't make sense to them. So use the pedals.
Okay.
Okay. So
Are you gonna go directly straight into there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And one of the things about pedals, when you're threading pedals, is the right side is a right side thread, or right hand thread.
Oh, and
so
then it's-
lefty
Okay.
loosey.
And then is the left one reverse threaded?
Yep.
Okay.
And so we'll be.
Loosening it to tight.
Yep.
Okay.
And this. Let's see. There we go. Oops, I'm going the wrong direction. And coming at it from the other side, it's
Yeah.
it's easy to get mixed
You
up.
get mixed up, yeah.
A lot of the older style pedals, you'd be using a pedal wrench
Okay.
because there'd be a nut side to it.
okay. Quick little question. I've
Yep.
done this when I was a kid. I'm just wondering if you did. Putting baseball cards on the tire.
Oh yeah,
Making
we
it
used to
sound
do
like a
that all the time
motorcycle?
as a little kid. As little kids,
Yeah.
yeah, made your bike sound like a motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah. My parents would always get mad at me telling me that my tires would break if I kept doing that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to put the brake levers on,
Okay.
and there's a nut in the face of the brake lever,
Okay.
and so we're going to loosen that up a little bit, and make sure it don't go too far. That way this doesn't fall out, and then this slides on,
Okay. And then comes up.
and then looks like we have to loosen this up a little bit more.
So yeah, while you're doing that, I had another question. It was,
Sure.
What's like? It may be hard to like be able to answer this, but
Uh-oh.
What's like the farthest you've ridden before? Like,
100 miles.
okay,
Holy
dang.
cow. Where was that?
Yeah, so that was the Tour of the Unknown Coast in Humboldt County,
Okay.
Okay.
and it was a non-competitive ride. It was just that's why it was called the Tour of the Unknown Coast.
Yeah.
And
So did you guys end up going alongside the beach or anything, or?
yeah, so basically the way the tour went was you started out in Ferndale, if you know where Ferndale is.
Yeah.
And you went down through the Avenue of the Giants, which is where all the redwoods are.
Uh-huh.
And then from the Avenue of the Giants, you went west through a place called Panther Gap. And Panther Gap would climb about like 2,000 or 3,000 feet. And so, you really got to have your low gears. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then from Panther Gap, you drop down into a place called Petrolia.
Okay.
Okay.
And then from Petrolia, you'd go along the coast, which is the Lost Coast. And you would.
Oh yeah, I was just in Lost Coast this weekend for AU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you go along the Lost Coast, and you climb something called the Wall, and it really looks like a wall when you see it. It looks like the road just goes straight up. And
So is that kind of like an optical illusion, like you?
yeah, it really was an optical illusion. And so I did. I'm gonna do that. So you'd then upon completing that climb,
Uh-huh.
you went through a place called the Wildcats,
Okay.
which was just a set of, it felt like they also referred to it as the Endless Hills, and that would drop you back down into Ferndale, and that would be the end of the ride.
Okay.
And the first time I did it, it took me 11 hours to do it.
Dang, just 11 hours straight?
Yeah, 11 hours straight. Well, I like a lot of people, I stopped a
Took
lot.
breaks, yeah.
Yeah, you take breaks. The other thing that I did was I didn't train as hard as some people did.
Okay.
There were people who would complete the ride in anywhere between. The record is 4 hours and some minutes.
Holy cow.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's an average of 25 miles an hour on a bicycle.
That's crazy.
Which
Through all
yeah,
the mountains and everything, that's crazy.
yeah, so they were pedaling really hard on the downhills because you can't, unless you're Superman, I don't think you can do 25 miles an hour up those hills, because those hills were
Not
very very
so.
steep.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
That's crazy,
Intense.
100 miles. So yeah, that you kind of answered one of my other questions was, like, do you ever go hill riding sometimes, like riding up on the hills, or?
yeah. I mean, that's the way I kind of build my bicycles. Is I want to be able to do that fairly easily.
Yeah.
So the gearing on my bicycles is such that I can do that.
Mhm.
And so like my gear ratios are pretty wide,
Yeah.
and that's not gonna work. Try this. Try and do it with this. I'm going to put the seat on while I'm at it. But one of the things I like about getting out on the bicycle is it allows me to get out in nature,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's probably the biggest reason I ride. I guess exercise is kind of a side benefit
Yeah.
of riding.
Yeah, it's kind
So
of like
my
a
my
byproduct.
riding my riding is probably a little more
Adventurous.
of an experience
Okay.
rather than just trying to get so many miles in at a certain rate.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see if I can do this without these coming threaded completely.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine if you're riding bikes a lot around the outside, you get some really beautiful sights and really nice sights. Cause,
Oh yeah.
I mean, just look around. There's so much to admire, and being able to ride through it would be amazing.
Yeah, that's precisely it. That looks pretty good. One of the things that happens when you're assembling bicycles is you get it pretty well assembled, but there's a lot of adjustment that you do with bicycles to get the position that you want
Exactly.
on the frame, and so I may be adjusting the height of this saddle. I may be adjusting the tilt of the saddle, and things like that. So when it's on the stand like this, it's hard to tell. Well, if I got that level the way I want it to be, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. So at this point,
What's your opinion on like BMX?
BMX, yeah. The only reason why I don't personally get into BMX is because the bicycles are just so darn small.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'd be hitting my chin with my knee all the time.
Yeah.
And because of that, BMX is kind of like that's sort of the sprinting
Yeah.
type of bike. It's a short. You're doing a short distance with a BMX bike.
Exactly.
Whereas, this bicycle I could ride hundreds of miles on,
Yeah.
and I could do that and the only reason why I could do that is because I can do it comfortably.
Exactly.
Whereas a BMX bicycle,
It's not as comfortable. It's a little bit.
it's not going to be as comfortable.
Exactly, and from car ride experiences, or just in general, being uncomfortable while sitting down or trying to sit in things for a long period of time while being uncomfortable, it's terrible.
Yeah, it is. So, thread along there.
Do you want me to hold this for you?
I just had to get the threads catch. So I'm putting the front brake on.
Okay.
You got to be able to stop.
I think so.
It's good to go, but it's always important to stop too. Be able to stop too. So that's the front brake. Now we're going to do the rear brake.
I've had my fair share of bikes where there's no brakes and having to
Yeah,
use my back
yeah.
foot.
That's not a good place to be.
Yeah, it's not too reliable.
A couple of years ago, I was riding on my bike on a trail, and I thought I had brakes, but my brother took them out.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
I see a lot of
It's not good.
BMX bicycles that people tend to lose the brakes on them, and which is not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to stop the bicycle by sticking their foot between the seat tube and the tire. It's like, ooh, that's a good way to break bones in your foot, or twist an ankle or whatever. That's
pretty injury prone. That.
You will get pretty injury prone. That's for sure. Okay. So that's a lot there.
Is there multiple types of bikes you build, like mountain bikes?
Most of my bicycles are all road bikes.
Okay.
I have one bicycle that I would call a gravel bike. What I did was I built it up with slightly smaller wheels, but then used bigger tires on it because the smaller wheels gave me more clearance on the forks and the chain stays. And so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And okay, so
Oh,
Good
good
catch.
catch.
Good catch. Oops. That's wrong
I'll
direction.
pick that up.
Thank you. You can probably put that in that cardboard box. And it won't get blown around.
So yeah, Alex asked if you build different types of bikes.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me curious if you ever, have ridden dirt bikes or if you ever experienced into that realm a little bit.
No, I've never done dirt bikes.
'Cause, yeah, I'm a really big dirt bike person. I find it really fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are into dirt bikes and so forth. Okay, that's gonna be But yeah, I had lots of friends who were into mini bikes and dirt biking when I was a kid, but I just never got into that, and most of it was like my folks were like, yeah, we're not doing that. That's expensive.
Yeah.
And they break down a lot, and so that was something that just didn't ever happen in my growing up.
Yeah.
So I was always happy with bicycles. I did a lot of. I was in Boy Scouts, and so I did a lot of backpacking, and that was pretty important to me.
Have you ever done any sports like other than biking?
No, and part of the reason for that was when I was part of the reason for that was I never was very. I was one of those kids that wasn't very coordinated,
Oh, okay.
and so. All right, we're getting to the last few little bits here.
Okay.
We're gonna put some grease on the. This is the freewheel.
Okay.
Always put grease on the freewheel before you put it on the wheel itself. This is the quick release on the wheel.
Okay.
If you're not used to these. So this is the device that Tullio Campanolo invented, which got his company started, and he eventually he got into making derailleurs, which was very important, and
So, earlier you were talking about how you welded your own bike. And,
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if that was something you learned on your own, or if you searched it up, or if you took classes in college to do that, or.
Kind of all of the above. I did a lot of
Okay.
reading. I did take classes to learn welding, and so that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But back on that, do you know what type of welding you used?
It was called gas welding,
Oh,
Okay.
and use a whoops. There we go.
You got it?
Yep. Get my finger out of there.
You mean hold it?
Got it.
There you go.
So are these the entire pedal?
Yeah, that's the entire pedal. That's a clip-in pedal,
Okay.
and so I
Okay.
wear special cycling shoes that
Yeah,
that clip in.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So.
yeah,
So is it easy to take the clips off?
yeah.
when you're trying to
You
get
just
off?
twist your foot and you pop
Oh,
pop
okay.
right out.
Okay, that's pretty
'Cause-
cool.
Yeah,
If it kind of looked like when you clipped them in, you couldn't get them off. Like if you're about to fall, you
yeah.
just had to fall with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask something about that. Now that you brought that up,
Yeah.
is it if you were to, get into that accident or that chance where you're about to crash, is it like pretty easy to where you could pop your feet out and?
Yeah, you can pop your feet out very quickly.
Okay.
I feel safer on a bicycle when I'm clipped in because I know my feet aren't going to slip off.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
happened a lot.
And yeah, so that's kind of big.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things sometimes when you're assembling a bicycle, you're usually fairly confident. I'm usually fairly confident about what I have and knowing that it fits.
Mhm.
But for some reason, this freewheel is a little thicker than I want it to be, and so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to pop this off and assemble the bicycle without the freewheel for right now.
Okay.
And I'll probably have to play with the axle a little bit. I'll actually have to take apart the axle, and so that won't be something that I'll do here. But it's just it's just sort of one of the things you run into, especially with these older. The spacing in between the dropouts is fairly narrow in comparison to modern bikes. That's because a lot of modern bikes you've got this has 6. You've got bicycles now that have 12 gears in the back.
Wow.
But then of course you've only got 1 gear in the front. And so that's pretty amazing that they've got that nowadays. But it changes changes how you build the bicycle frame
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the wheel on without the free wheel, and then and these hubs are Spanish, and they came from Spain,
Yeah.
and
A lot of stuff comes from there.
yeah, this company that made these parts is no longer in existence.
Oh,
Yeah, so these parts are sort of
rare.
rare, and
Amazing.
they're hard to get a hold of.
Wow.
So
How'd you get your hands on them?
I found them through connections, people in the vintage bike world.
Okay.
So okay, that's good. That'll work. And then we'll do the front wheel. Front wheel's always the easiest to put in.
All right. Good.
Notice that the quick release levers go on one side of the frame.
Okay.
And what you do is you twist you twist this a few times until you can close this, and that makes this tight.
Okay, so it doesn't like wobble when you're riding?
Yeah, so it doesn't wobble when you ride. Yep.
Alright.
And then later on I'll play with the positioning of the brake pads.
Okay.
And that's sort of 90% of the assembly of a bicycle. How we shift gears on a bicycle. There are a couple of different ways to shift gears. Modern bicycles have what they call brifters,
Okay.
and that's where you've got the shifters contained in the brake lever,
Okay.
and the cabling goes down and that way.
Oh, that reminds me. Are you gonna hook up the brake cabling today?
Yeah, I probably will.
All right.
And I'll probably do the derailleur cabling too.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm taking this apart is so that I can get this in here.
That brings a question to mind. Do you have any tips for any beginner building, bike building?
The way I got started was I started reading about assembling bicycles and building bicycles and maintaining bicycles. I guess having a bicycle and just working on it yourself and getting used to all the different parts is really a good way to start. It's the way I learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to start looking for bicycles that you want to build, eBay is a good way to go. There's sometimes local garage sales. My older son, his first bicycle was a bike that we bought at a garage sale for $40.
Okay.
We spent a little money and stripped the frame and rebuilt it. And this bicycle is going to have the shifters at the ends of the handlebars.
Okay.
These are called bar end shifters.
Okay. So this is where the brake is gonna hook up to?
The brake is here. This one's gonna feed, and it's gonna go. I've got a couple of clips, and it's gonna go to this rear brake here.
Okay.
This one is gonna go and feed and drop into this one here.
Okay. What are these for?
These are the shifters.
Oh, okay.
So these are what are called bar end shifters.
Okay.
And
I have another question.
yeah.
Was there like a mentor that you had that made you want to like do all this?
Not at first.
No.
The mentoring that I got was when I was in college. I met. I was in a place where there was a lot of bike racing,
Okay.
and I met a lot of people who were into bike racing, and therefore a lot of people who were into working on and building up bicycles.
Okay.
And so I picked up a lot of information from them, and that was very helpful for me. And then a lot of what I picked up was either through books or just making my own mistakes. And sometimes even still today I make mistakes on assembling bicycles.
Yeah.
The freewheel in the back there, I'm going to have to play with the washers. I'm going to have to change washers in these right here,
Okay.
and so that I can shift the hub a little bit,
Okay.
so that I can get a little more space.
Okay.
And,
really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, practice makes perfect.
Okay. Okay, so brake cable.
Do you need this?
Eventually, it will.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are brake cable clips. This
Okay.
this is sort of the old school way of securing your brake cables.
Okay.
The bicycles that were built by the time the 80s started rolling around, frame builders were on better built bicycles were putting loops, were welding loops onto the top tube, and so you
Yeah.
fed the tubing through there,
Okay.
and that took care of that. And okay, so at this point, we're using.
Are you gonna put on the tires?
I won't put on the tires today. I've got to get something that's called rim tape to cover up
Okay.
these holes. Otherwise, if I put the inner tube on there and blow it up, it will cause the inner tube to poke in the holes, and the holes are kind of sharp,
okay.
and they would cause the
They'll pop it.
yeah, it could pop it.
Okay.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm sizing up how my cable's going to go and how much cable I need. So that looks good. So I'm going to cut that right there. When you're cutting cable, you got to make sure that you cut straight. This is actually a spiral round metal, and then there's
okay.
a Teflon lining in the inside of it, and that will, if you don't cut it straight, it doesn't work very well.
Okay.
So you just got to be aware of that. So then we'll get one of these. One of these cables. And of course, it takes forever to undo them. You need to figure out which one's shorter, because one's supposed to be for the rear and one's supposed to be the front. So this is the front. And then what you do is you'll notice, you look on the inside of this, you see that
Yeah.
that's where the cable goes through.
Okay.
And just thread through the bottom. It
Okay.
comes up. Good, you got that. And then
Here, hold this.
just do oops.
Can you go through this
Let
hole?
me do this. Let me try this again. Let me try feeding. What's that mean? What's that mean? The challenge is always getting the. There's it's a tiny hole.
Yeah. Right
And you
there.
got it. And you got it. Well, there's a tiny hole here because we got to feed through that.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And so. Sometimes you just gotta. Ah, there we go.
There it is.
Okay, so now you just gotta get this. You gotta get the little pear-shaped thingy in there, and okay, that's it. Now we feed.
Well, you have to put it through that.
Yeah, we put it through the housing, or through the housing. There's that. And it's going to come through here. And then that is going to come through here. And then I'm going to squeeze this. I'm going to tighten that.
Okay.
Now I actually have, I'll show you a little handy tool. It's called the third hand brake tool. And what you do is you take this, you put it on one side there, you put it on the other side here, and that squeezes the brakes to the rim. And then that allows you to use your other hand, you pull on the cable, you take your 10 millimeter socket and you tighten this down and you clamp it.
Okay.
And so then once you've done that, now one of the things that okay, now we're done with that. So if I've got the tire inflated and I want to pop the wheel off, there is a quick release, and notice that opens up the brake.
Yeah.
And so that allows the brake to open up, and I can take, and then that closes it up. And,
okay, yeah, you can see it here.
Yeah. So and then at this point, and that's our front brake.
It's amazing.
And then we'll cut that excess off. I like to leave about 3 inches or so. That's that.
So the front one's always the easiest?
Front one's usually the easiest. Rear is kind of the same, I guess. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We got to get this up through there, and hopefully we'll get lucky and feed it right into the hole, just like that. Okay, let me do some here. Gives here. Okay, let's try this again. We've got it on the wrong side of that. This has got to go there. This has got to go here. There.
Oh, you got it.
We're on the.
Now I have to get it to that one.
Got it.
Good job.
And then. Oops. Okay, there's that. So now we're going to run this, and I'm going to just do it a little bit like this. And then, so all I need is gap. Okay, so now take this. That's not good.
Did it unthread?
Yeah. Okay, I think I opened that up enough now, and I just need to trim off that little bit. Chink. All right. Aha, yes. Okay. There's that hole. Okay, now before I tighten that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these little clips here.
Okay.
And for that, I need... Is that the right side? Yes, it is. Okay.
As our clips for up here too.
Nope.
You just leave those.
No, they just hang out.
So, do you like riding on more smooth roads or trails?
Yeah,
Or rocky?
that's where I tend to ride most
Okay.
of the time. And okay, okay. Oops.
When you were younger, did you like riding on more rocky, or still smooth?
No, pretty much. I was riding roads. I used to love that there were places that I loved to go to. Like I would ride from Fairfield all the way to Napa,
Okay.
and that was always cool. And
Yeah.
that was because it was a huge climb, and then you'd go sailing down the other side. Bicycles are sometimes fiddly. You gotta just fiddle with stuff until it works.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, we'll put the third one on there and we'll be done. And then we'll do the shifting cables.
this is the last one. We're gonna do the, I believe it's shifting cables,
Mm-hmm.
and those shift gears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the fastest bike you've ever had?
Speed on a bicycle is always dependent upon who's riding it. So, I mean, the fastest I've ever been on a bicycle was going down a hill in a place called McKinleyville that was really, really long and really, really straight. And I used to have a bike computer on the bike, and oh golly, I think I got up to like 55 miles an hour.
Holy cow, that's really fast on a bike.
Yeah, that is. You know, some of the guys in the Tour de France, they'll get faster. Some of them have been known to clock like 70 miles an hour down
Holy
some
cow.
down some of the mountain passes.
Insane.
Yeah, that is insane. It's pretty crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to so this is going to go like this, and then it's going to feed into here like that. So
You
I'm going
mean
to cut
hold
that. No. I just gotta cut it.
Okay.
This is, again, you always got to make sure you cut square. And then we put ferrules on the end.
Okay.
On at least
What do
one
those
end.
do?
What ferrules do is with this cable, because of the way it's a braided. Okay, now there we are. Okay, so now we got a shifter cable,
Okay.
and we'll feed. These are a little bit easier to feed.
So this one's just straight through. That's cool.
Hopefully I used, if this isn't the front derailleur cable, I can check the length on it. Put it together. Yeah, because that's not going to make it. So, take this, put it on the other side. So that looks like that, and then later on I won't do the handlebar tape tonight because I gotta get tape to secure the
Okay.
and I use a specific tape for that.
You don't have it here with you today?
No. So then this will go there, and that's where the front derailleur will the front derailleur cable,
All right.
and make sure that's here. So I'll do some adjustment at when I get home. Make sure that the cage is hanging over the inside chain wheel just right,
Okay.
and there are 2 screws that allow me to adjust for those things. This one will adjust for this position, the other one will adjust for only going so far in the other chain wheel, because you don't want the chain coming off either of the chain wheels and dropping.
Okay.
So, all right, now we're going to do the other. And of course, the challenge is getting it to match with the other. I want your loops to look nice and aesthetically pleasing. Give this 1 more inch. Find a ferrule. There we go. And this should be the rear derailleur. Feed this end
Okay.
through the lever. Notice derailleur cable is thinner than brake cable. Brake cable is a
Yeah.
little bit thicker.
Okay.
Not because it's gonna get grinded on.
No, the brake cable the brake cable is thicker because you're putting more force when you're pulling the brakes, and so your cable has to be thicker for that.
Okay.
There's that. And then it feeds through this cable guide in the bottom bracket. At least it's supposed to. I think they,
Oh, you can see it coming through.
there you go. It's a little bit of, oh, well, what do you know? Look at that. That cable is short too. Another front cable. So, well, I guess I'm stuck. So I'll have to find another derailleur cable at home.
Okay.
Unless I've got one in here. Nope, I don't. Okay. So that pretty much, for right now, that's what I can do, what I can complete on the bike. And
That looks so great.
the last thing that'll be kind of cool to put on here will be the chain.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gold.
I just ordered a light colored chain and I didn't realize it was going to come gold, you know.
Some bling.
So yeah, so it's going to have some bling on it when I get it on there. But
Awesome.
I'll fix this. I'll swap in a rear derailleur cable instead of the front derailleur cable that I wound up with, and it will be ready to ride.
Awesome.
And then I'll put the handlebar tape on it, and it'll take some shakedown riding to make sure that everything works properly. which is pretty typical. And but let's for I have this little weight thingy, so I'm gonna.
It's a really nice bike.
We'll see how light it is, or how heavy. So go ahead and let go. So it is 21.6 pounds.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's really light for a bike.
That is very light. That's light for especially a steel bike of this generation, and especially for a frame this tall. And I've got a heavy saddle on here. If I went with like a more modern, lighter saddle, I could probably shave at least 2 pounds off the weight
Wow.
of the bike. But I like leather saddles because they shape to your sit bones on your body, and so I've got them on I've got leather saddles on all my bicycles.
Okay.
Let's see, as I'm looking at this, yeah, I'll probably adjust the tilt of the saddle a little bit. The handlebars, I'll probably adjust the tilt on those. This is fairly quick.
Okay.
So this is an example of like kind of what you go through when you first get a bicycle assembled. You just kind of start tweaking it, getting it to be comfortable for you.
Okay.
What's comfortable for one person is not comfortable for another person because everybody is built different from everybody else. So that's, yeah, I think you let it go.
All right.
But yeah, that's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice bike.
Wow.
Very cool. All right.
So thank you very much for letting me share my interest and my passion. And I'll make sure when I get the bicycle completely put together, I'll bring it to class and you guys can see the completed product with the handlebar tape on it.
All right.
So,
That's awesome.
all right, you guys are welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey guys, that's gonna close up today's bike vlog, I guess. I assume.
Yeah.
So thank you to Alex for being able to help here, and Jacob Roden, who unfortunately had to leave a little bit early today. And huge thank you to Mr. Elliott for
Thank you so much.
coming
Yeah,
out
you're
here
welcome.
and
Thank
showing
you.
us this.